Okay, we are live. And welcome to another live video here with me, Kris Amerikos. And just to remind you, every Friday at 9 a.m., we do this live video. I go live, I answer your questions, and we chat. I just share a little bit more about what we're doing. And the most important thing is I answer your questions. You write your questions in the comments, in the chat, and I try to answer them for you. So every Friday at 9 a.m., we are here on YouTube doing these live calls. Every Monday at 9 a.m. New York time, I'm talking about New York time. Every Monday at 9 a.m. New York time, we go live on Facebook in the group called English with Kris Amerikos. And every Wednesday at 9 a.m. New York time, we go live on Instagram. My Instagram account is Kris Amerikos. You'll find me. So if you want to join the other live calls that we do them Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Because today's Friday and it is, well, almost 9 a.m. New York time right now, we are live. Welcome to the Kris Amerikos Show. Today is July 3rd, 2020. And I see that there are a lot of people writing comments here in the chat already. That's amazing. And I see people from all over the world. Yemen. People from Yemen. Let's see, where else? Morocco, Yemen, lots of Yemen. I think everyone in Yemen is here with us today. Great. From Pakistan, excellent. Great. Okay, thanks everybody. It's great that you're here with me today on this live call, and I am going to start answering your questions so that we can have a good lesson today. Really, when I go live, I like to have English lessons and teach. So let's do it. Let's jump right in. Okay, wow, lots and lots of comments. Great. All right, I saw some questions here. What's the difference? Here's a good one. What's the difference between since and ago? So what is the difference between since and ago? Here's the difference. Let's imagine that we have a timeline. Right? Timeline. Here is now. This is now. This is the future, and this is the past, right? So when I say I have been teaching English since 2009, then that means 2009 is in the past, and from this point until now, I have been teaching English, right? So since means until now. It happened or it started in the past, but it's true or continues until now. So I can say, I have been teaching English since 2009. But if I want to say ago, then I would say something different. Instead, we could say, I started teaching English, let's see, 11 years ago. I started teaching English 11 years ago. So here we just have 2009. It's just the point in the past, and we need to count. How long ago was that? It's just that point in the past, right? That's when I started. So that's the difference, is that ago just points to or shows us a point in the past. It just shows us one point in the past. And since shows us that point and then says that it continued or it's true until now. That's the difference. All right. Great question. Oh, wow. Look at all these comments. Okay, I'm going to find another question here to answer now. Here's a good one. It's about pronunciation. So let me wipe off the board. Okay, I get this question a lot, and so I'm really happy to answer it. The question is, how do you pronounce these two words? What's the difference? The word won't and the word want. Yes, they are pronounced differently. They are pronounced differently. They sound different. So the first word is won't. We have this sound O, right? It's two sounds, actually. O, O, won't. All right? The second word, it has only one sound, only one vowel sound. It's want, want, want. Now, in different accents, it might sound different. Usually, won't always sounds like oh, like won't. But want, in some British accents, some types of British English, they might say a very long ah, like want, want. But in American English, usually this will sound like like want, want, like the number one, right? So in American English, won't and want. This is the difference in the pronunciation. Now, maybe for you listening to me say this, maybe it doesn't sound very clear, right? Because maybe these are different. Maybe these sounds sound very similar to you, and maybe in your language these sounds are similar. So here's another easy way to know when you should use these two words. So if we are using a verb after this, right? For example, to go. We could say, are you going to the party? You could say, I won't go. I won't go, right? Because after won't means will not, right? Won't, will not. After won't, we cannot say to. We just say go. We don't say to go. I won't go, or I will go, right? I will go or I won't go. But after will and won't, we do not say to. But if we say want, it's different. I want to go. I want to go. So it's very easy to understand if someone says won't or want, because if there's a verb after this, they must use to here. So I won't go, I want to go. All right, I hope that helps you understand the difference. Great, great, great. Okay. Wow, so many questions and so many people watching. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining today. And I'm going to answer some more questions right now. Excellent. Let me find a good question to answer here. All right. Question. Is it necessary to use a or the in titles? I'm watching the movie Matrix, or am I watching the movie The Matrix? Good question. Good question. So and it's a really difficult question to answer, because it's just the name of something, right? And anybody can create a name. So sometimes people create something that's called the or the, and then the name, right? But sometimes people use this word in the name. Sometimes people use the word a or an in the name of something. And if it's part of the name, then we should say it. I am watching The Matrix, right? I believe that this was the official name of the movie was The Matrix. But if we just say I am watching Matrix, then it's not clear that it's exactly that thing with that name. So there's no rule about if the name should have this or not, the name of a film or a book or a company or a building or anything. There's no rule about that. So it could have these words or it could not. It's just the person who created it and gave it this name, the person who named it, decided that. Great question. Okay. Let's find another good question in here. What's the difference between in order to and to? Good question. So really, there's not a big difference. The main difference is that in order to is more formal. In order to is more formal. Also, we use in order to when we want to really show this process. Like there's many steps here, right? Like for example, why do you work? To get money. You work to get money. It's like A equals B, right? If we think about math. But we could also say, I work in order to get money. This sounds more formal, and it sounds like maybe there are more steps here, right? It's not exactly A equals B, it's A something, and then later we find B, right? So it's more like this. This is how it sounds, at least. Really, these are very, very, very similar, and the only difference is that in order to probably is a little more formal. Great questions. Great questions. And I want to take 1 second right now, just a short, small break to say thank you, everybody, for joining this live call today and for wanting to improve your English. Because when people want to improve how they communicate with other people in the world, it makes the world better. If we can understand each other, there will be less problems. And the more that people can send information to each other and communicate information, the better it's going to be for everybody. So it's really great that you're here and you're doing a great thing, and keep learning English. The second thing that I need to announce or tell you about is that, of course, it's great to watch me teach you English and listen to what I'm saying and ask questions in the chat, but the best way to actually speak the language, to practice speaking it, is to do it. You have to meet a person or have a person to talk with, right? So you need to really speak. That's the only way to learn in the end, right? So you need to find a speaking partner. You need to find someone to practice with. And it's even better if they're a teacher who can help you and show you the mistakes and teach you something new, right? So if you want speaking practice, I have a special program that I've created called Everyday English. And you can go to my website, krisamerikos.com. I'm going to send the link right now in the chat. The next lesson is starting very soon. We have a lesson every hour. So here's the link. I highly, highly, highly recommend that if you want to improve your speaking level, your level of spoken English, to join this program just for a month and try it. If you don't like it, you can stop at any time, okay? But you can practice speaking with me and with other teachers all day, every day. And it's really a great program. And you can see what other students have said about this. Hundreds of students have sent us their feedback, and you can see what they've said. All right, great. Let's answer some more questions. Let's answer some more questions. How can we use the verb to be and all of its forms? I mean, the verb to be is used to, it's like an equal sign in math, right? Like A equals B. Instead of saying equals, we say the verb to be, right? So A is B. This is the verb to be. It's like an equal sign, like I am Kris. I am Kris. I am American. I am a man. I am speaking English right now. So, for example, this is how we can use the verb to be. I'm not going to show you all the different forms because why would I just waste everybody's time writing that on the board, right? You can Google it and you can find a nice chart, graph. You can find all the forms that you want. Okay. Ooh, this is a good one. And this is one that I like. Shifa Hassan says, what's the difference between a few, a little, and little? This is a great one. A lot of people ask about this too. So here's how we can understand this. This question is about quantifiers, things that tell us how much or how many. And there's a lot of rules here, but one of the rules that we can understand, and which will answer your question, is when we talk about small amounts. When we talk about small amounts or small quantities. So quantifiers, small quantities. And here we have these 4 different words that you asked about. We could say a few, or we could say just few, but very often people say very few. So we could say a few or very few, and these are different. These are different, and you have a great question. So the same with a little and very little. The same with a little and very little. So what is the difference? Well, difference number 1. A few and very few, these are used for countable nouns. So like 1 friend, 2 friends, a few friends. But a little and very little are used for uncountable nouns. Uncountable nouns. Words like water, right? You don't say 1 water and 2 waters. We could say, I want a little water. I want a little water, right? We could say that because water is uncountable. So that's the first difference. But what's the difference between a few or a little and very few and very little, right? Why do we need 2 of them? Here's the answer. A few means a small number. Let me find a color that we can see up here. Small number. And very few, this is a small percentage. A small percentage. So, for example, in my city, there are about 1 million people. Let's say 1 million people live in my city. If I tell you a few people in my city have birds, have pet birds. A few people in my city have pet birds. A few. This means maybe 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, something like this. A small number. But if I tell you very few people in my city have pet birds, very few people, this means it's a small percentage. And what that means is if 1% of 1 million, 1% of 1 million people have birds, then that's a small percent. But it's not a small number, right? Because 1% of a million is 10,000. So 10,000 is not a small number, but 1% is a small percent, right? So 10,000 people in my city have pet birds, I can say, very few people in my city have pet birds. But if 4 people have pet birds, I can say, a few people have pet birds. Now, in every situation, you usually don't need to think about is it a percentage, is it a small number, right? And what if the small percentage and small number are the same number, right? So you don't need to think about it so much. This is the difference. This is the real difference between them. But you don't have to think about it so much, you know? Great. Okay. I don't think I've ever made a YouTube video lesson about that. Or maybe I have. I think I have a lesson about this called quantifiers on this YouTube channel. Excellent. Okay. Wow. So many questions coming in. Thank you so much, guys. Okay. Here's another one. What's the difference between using till and until? Oops. Okay, so the question is the difference between till and until. They are the same. They are the same. Now, there's another word, till, and this is the place where the cashier, the person who takes the money at a shop, a supermarket, the person takes the money and they put the money into a machine, right? This machine opens and closes. This is called the till in British English. In American English, it's called the cash register. But so this is another difference. But the word till is just a short form of the word until. So as a short form, it's like all other short forms. It's less formal. It's more conversational. And there are some situations where we prefer to use till over until, like when we're talking about time. Some people might say it's 10 to 8, right? It's 10 minutes to 8. Or in some types of English, people might say not to 8, but they'll say till 8. So 10 minutes till 8, right? So in this case, people don't usually say until 8. They usually just say till 8. And so this is just one example. But overall, if you say until instead of saying till, everyone will understand it's the same word. All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for coming to this lesson today. And, I wish I could answer all the questions, but, we just have 20, 30 minutes each time when we do these live calls. The next live video, the next live lesson like this is going to be on Monday at 9 a.m. New York time in my Facebook group. It's called English with Kris Amerikos. You can find the link in the description to this video or any of my YouTube videos. The link is under there. On Wednesday at 9 a.m. New York time, we will go live on Instagram. And my Instagram account is Kris Amerikos. It's really easy to find. And then next Friday at 9 a.m. New York time, we will be live here on YouTube again. And I see that our numbers are growing on YouTube, and that's great. And the bigger the numbers get, the more interesting it's going to get for you guys. I have some things to give away, and I'm just waiting until the numbers are there. So I really, really appreciate you guys being here and joining this live video and watching all of my YouTube videos and commenting and liking, and it's very small, but I'm happy that you do it. Thanks a lot for doing that. And if you want to recommend anyone, we have our free seminar where I teach people how to speak better English in 1 month. And it's really a plan for how to study English. So I highly recommend sharing that with your friends or anyone who's studying English right now. And it's absolutely free. And many of you probably have joined it already. And then, of course, we have our best program in the world, Everyday English, where you can join, and anytime that you want, you can just join a lesson, speak with native speakers and people from other countries around the world, and you can get speaking practice every day, as many times as you want. You can join, right now, I think you could join 60 lessons every day if you wanted. Of course, you can't join all of them because some of them happen at the same time, but you can join a lesson all day, every day, and you can really improve your English fast. So you can just try it for a month, and if you don't like it, you can always just stop, right? And it's not very expensive, so you can do that. But I really hope that this lesson today was useful for you, and that it helped you understand something new, and me answering some of the questions that you wrote helped you learn English a little bit better today. I'll be back next time, and in the meantime, I'd love to speak with you face-to-face in our live speaking course, Everyday English. I'll send the link again right here in the chat, because this is really the best resource for learning spoken English that exists on the internet right now. So here it is. All right, thank you so much, everybody, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye. Have a wonderful day.